Michelle Yeoh's Star Trek movie is a surprise reunion of her Oscar-winning film. When the first whispers of Michelle Yeoh joining the latest Star Trek movie hit the internet, fans reacted with a mixture of excitement and curiosity. Yeoh, a legend of martial arts cinema and an Oscar-winning actress for her role in Everything Everywhere All at Once, had never seemed like a conventional fit for the Star Trek universe. Yet, as more details emerged, it became clear that her involvement was not just another casting coup. It was, in many ways, a cinematic reunion of her most celebrated work, echoing themes, emotions, and narrative risks reminiscent of her Oscar-winning performance. The unexpected Star Trek connection. Michelle Yeoh's career has been a masterclass in versatility. From the acrobatic grace of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon to the relentless inventiveness of Everything Everywhere All at Once, she has continually proven herself capable of traversing genres, cultures, and cinematic universes. Star Trek, with its blend of philosophical questions, moral dilemmas, and high-concept science fiction, seems, at first glance, like an entirely different beast. Yet, for Yeoh, it's another playground for exploration, a space not just for action, but for emotional resonance. Her Star Trek role reportedly places her as a newly minted captain in the Starfleet, tasked with navigating an uncharted sector of the galaxy rife with political intrigue, mysterious cosmic phenomena, and ethical quandaries. This setup is reminiscent of her Oscar-winning Turn, in which her character, Evelyn Wang, traverses multiple realities while confronting personal and existential crises. The parallel is more than superficial. Both roles demand a balance between physical performance, emotional depth, and the uncanny ability to make the audience invest in a character who is simultaneously ordinary and extraordinary. Revisiting the multiverse of emotion. What made Yeoh's performance in Everything Everywhere All at Once so memorable and Oscar-worthy was her ability to inhabit a multiverse of emotions. In that film, she oscillates effortlessly between comedy, tragedy, rage, and vulnerability, often within the same scene. Star Trek, as a franchise, is no stranger to multiverse concepts. Episodes and movies have long explored alternate realities, time loops, and parallel universes, often using them as metaphors for personal growth and moral reflection. Yeoh's presence in the Star Trek universe feels like a natural extension of this storytelling DNA. Her character is reportedly caught in a web of interstellar politics that forces her to confront not only her own moral compass, but also the unintended consequences of her decisions across multiple worlds, a scenario that mirrors her multiversal journey in Everything Everywhere All at Once. Interestingly, the film's director, whose identity has been kept under wraps, has suggested in interviews that Yeoh's Star Trek arc will explore the infinite consequences of choice, a theme that directly echoes the emotional core of her Oscar-winning performance. Fans familiar with her previous work will recognize her trademark ability to convey profound existential dilemmas without sacrificing humanity or charm, a quality that, even in a Starship Captain, promises to make the character relatable and compelling. Action and grace, a signature Yeoh element. Star Trek has historically leaned on action sparingly, focusing more on dialogue, philosophy, and speculative science. Yet, Yeoh's presence inevitably shifts the kinetic energy of the movie. Known for her breathtaking martial arts sequences, Yeoh brings a physicality to her role that few in the Star Trek canon have matched. Early reports suggest that the film includes several sequences in which her character engages in hand-to-hand combat with adversaries, blending tactical ingenuity with her signature elegance. These sequences are not gratuitous. They are designed to illuminate character, demonstrating leadership under pressure and a mind that's as agile as the body she commands. There's also a symbolic resonance here. Just as Evelyn Wang used her physicality across multiple universes to fight, survive, and understand herself, Yeoh's Star Trek character uses action as a narrative device to explore resilience, moral courage, and adaptability. It's a reminder that Star Trek's universe isn't just about phasers and warp drives. It's about the human, or in this case, humanoid spirit navigating vast, unpredictable, and often hostile environments. Themes of connection and identity. One of the most surprising aspects of Yeoh's Star Trek movie is how deeply it taps into the themes that made Everything Everywhere All at Once resonate worldwide. Her Star Trek character is tasked with maintaining peace in a fractured galaxy, often finding herself at odds with both allies and enemies. At its heart, the story interrogates questions of identity, legacy, and the weight of responsibility, much like her Oscar-winning film did through the lens of family, personal failure, and multiversal chaos. There's a particular subplot involving Yo's interactions with an alien ambassador that has already caught fan attention. Reports describe a scene in which dialogue, silence, and subtle gestures convey more than action ever could, a delicate interplay of trust, suspicion, and empathy. It's the kind of moment that calls back to Evelyn Wang's quiet reflections on connection and love, demonstrating that Yo's greatest strength may lie not in spectacular action, but in her capacity to inhabit a character fully, allowing audiences to feel her triumphs and failures viscerally. A meta-cinematic reunion. Perhaps the most fascinating aspect of Yo's Star Trek appearance is the meta-textual layer it introduces. For fans who know her Oscar-winning performance intimately, there's a subtle thrill in seeing echoes of Evelyn Wang in A Spacefaring Hero. The Star Trek universe becomes a stage on which Yo revisits some of her most iconic emotional beats, grappling with uncertainty, navigating moral gray areas, and reconciling the multiplicity of her responsibilities. Yet, it does so in a context radically different from the multiverse of a personal, earthbound story. It's a cinematic reunion that bridges genres, audiences, and narrative logic. This blending of cinematic worlds also has the potential to elevate the Star Trek franchise itself. By embracing Yo's multiversal sensibilities, the movie could introduce new ways of exploring character and consequence, providing the same kind of emotional resonance that helped Everything Everywhere All at Once become a cultural touchstone. In other words, Yo's participation is not just a casting win, it's a creative strategy to infuse Star Trek with fresh energy and thematic ambition. Fan reactions and cultural impact. Social media reactions to Yo's Star Trek casting reveal the extraordinary expectations surrounding this movie. Fans celebrate her inclusion as a milestone for representation and for the franchise's willingness to embrace unconventional casting choices. There's also a palpable excitement in seeing how her cinematic history will inform her role. Threads discussing parallels between Evelyn Wang and the new captain abound, suggesting that audiences are eager to see Yo's multiversal experience translate into interstellar storytelling. Critics, too, have noted the cultural significance of Yo taking on such a high-profile role within a historically male-dominated franchise. Her casting is not just symbolic, it reflects the evolving nature of blockbuster cinema, where emotional nuance, intellectual rigor, and physical prowess coexist in the same character. For younger audiences discovering Yo through Star Trek, it might spark a rediscovery of her earlier films, creating a bridge between generations of fans and celebrating a career defined by boundary-pushing performances. Risks and rewards of this